Come on, come on, come on, come on. Sing it with me. Come on, come on, come on. SBE, SBE. I've been in the manosphere for a long, long time, but nobody watches me. SBE, SBE. My content's are born, my pussy is sore, so I created SBE. Sit right back, let me tell you a tale about a group of weak men going straight to hell. I'm talking about them PhDs, make the ghost of Booker T go weak at the knees. And you all know who I hate the best. It goes by the name of DGS. They're making me sick, it's plain to see. Now come on everybody, won't you sing with me? SBE, SBE. I've been in the manosphere for a long, long time, but nobody watches me. SBE, SBE. My content's are born, my pussy is sore, so I created SBE.
The content of this channel is for mature audiences. Parental discretion is advised. You're tuned in to the Green Gorilla channel. Please make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell notification button. And please, feel free to share the video. Thank you.
Yo, what's cracking, man? What's happening with y'all, man? I'm Gigi. You tuned in to the Green Gorilla channel. It's the place where black men can express themselves freely, straight up with no chases. You feel me? Now, before I get things started, man, like, you know, I always do, bro. You know what I'm saying? I give a shout out to all the haters, man, and make sure, you know, that they all right, man. They doing well. How y'all doing, haters? And when you come in, man, you know, at some point, man, would you please hit the like button, man? If you haven't subscribed to the channel, why don't you go ahead and do that, man, so you can support your boy, man. And hit the bell notification button so you can stay abreast of what's going on here on the Green Gorilla channel, man. You know what I'm saying? Right now, we got the Blizzard King, man, DennisSpurling, man. He's sitting on ice right now, you know what I'm saying? He chilling. He chilling. But anyway, what we about to do, man, is go through this roll call like I always do, man, to show my appreciation for all of the members of the Green Gorilla channel on both YouTube and Patreon, and then we're going to get into the business and the proceedings. So shout out to Bimrock, Damian H, Passport OG, Dr. Tiasan Johnson, Rashid Barnes, Blacksword 404, DF, Rais Morjid, Ben Cannon Kenton, Sherlin Woe, Leon, Black Men Being Brutally Honest, Artisan MC, Dub Will, Mr. Good Dad, Dar, Third Coast X, Roderick Jackson, Michael Ross, 63rd Samurai, Devon Loveridge, Ishmael Samad, The Watcher, Hostile ADAP. Big up to Red Pill Revelator, Kill the Game, Dr. Thunder, BGS Ibmore, Jason Hales, Charles Finney, Interesting Thought, It's Always Jermaine, Naomi, J. Cleveland Green, The Toxic Masculinist, Pulpit 28, Broken Blade, Larry R, Seth Sun, Afro Troop TV, Show Me, Spain Man, Seven Coast Dojo, Anthony Davis, I'm Just Jules, An Honest Look, Ricky Dawson, Stefan, True 7360, Mr. Me Too, Call for President, Gold Professor, AKs and Curtains, H-Town, Roguish the Billmonger, Adrian Thomas, Thomas, Electrician 480, Binga, Cutting Up with the Jones, Zanco 1, D. Scott, Path Guy, and Pete Rock. Also, Aaron Peters, Vince Lindsay, Quiz the Poet, Black Wizard, Jazz Tech, Shadow Observer, Troy Warren, Mrs. K.P. Bailey, Alan Wiley, The Face, Life of Commerce, AI Apostle, Timothy Blewett, Jeffrey Speed, Marvin Battle Jr., Adam, Ignatz Mouse, Dr. Treat 33, 77 Base X, Brian McMurray, Karen S., Charles Rogers, Rick Ross, Sandra Jean, Charles Gilmore, Greg, Barry Little, Mr. Valentino, Cameron 87, Dr. Rock, Mark Scriff, Odd Collard, Donald Watts, Coach Hotep, Old Soul Chief, and Mr. Blue Collar. Big up to them, man. TD Hip Hop Media, Drew Main, Mr. Heat, Sir Anthony, MLR, Universal 178, Aaron Smith, DH, A-Double, Kalon Jakala, W. Pierre 1. Can't forget the brothers in the ethereal plane, Force Windu, David Carroll, and Kevin Samuels, man. Straight up, big up. On the Patreon side, I want to give a shout out to Robert Wicks, Shine Language, Chris Flowers, Christopher Burton, Daxby, The Tetrahedron, J Live, Rashawn Phillips Searles, Keith Bass, Nick, Albert C, Dr. Ben Vincent, I'm the Light of My Father, Waffle Weave, Darnell Smith, Excalibur, Pursuer Prisoner, Taz, Jay Bailey, Mr. Michi Momal, and the Sangwa, man. Big up, man. Y'all deserve a round of applause, man. Thank you so much for supporting the Green Gorilla channel on an ongoing basis and helping me to keep things going here, man. I really appreciate it. I do, man. And if you're looking to become a member or you're inquiring about how to do so, man, this is how you do it. We'll be back with the business. What's good, everybody? I'm the G with a PhD, and you're tuned in to the Green Gorilla channel, the place where black men can express themselves freely. Straight up, no chaser. Today, I want to introduce you to my new membership program that consists of 5 levels where you can invest in the Green Gorilla channel on a monthly basis and receive level-specific perks. Memberships are special because they improve the quality of the content of the channel and will help me to be able to keep the channel going. Now, to participate in the Green Gorilla channel membership program, all you have to do is hit the join button, which is located right next to the subscribe button on my channel page. Now, for all of my subscribers who decide not to participate in my membership program, nothing will change. The content will keep coming the way it always has. Thanks for watching, and be careful out here, people. Bless. Yes, sir, man. We back, man. I'm Gigi. You're tuned in to the Green Gorilla channel. It's the place where black men can express themselves freely, straight up with no chases, man. I brought special guest today, man. They call him Uncle D, also known as the Blizzard King. He getting down dirty, you know what I'm saying, on these conversations, man, with these and about these hoes. What's cracking with you, DennisSpurling? What's happening with you, attorney at law? What's going on with you, bro?
Oh, man, everything is good. I want to just first thank you for your great contribution to black men around the world, but specifically here in the United States. And it's an honor and pleasure to be here again. Man, it's been a month of Sundays, man, since we shared the platform together, man, and had a conversation, man. So yes, it's all to the good, bro. It's all to the good, man. Mm-hmm. What you been doing over there, man, on the DennisSpurling channel, man? You know, man, I got some questions for you, but you know, like just preliminarily, man, what's cracking with you over there, man? I've been trying trolls, finding them guilty of reckless eyeballing, pocket watching, and all kinds of stuff. Man, I've been banning trolls from life for life, man. But other than that, man, I just keep letting them know, man, if I can do it, they can do it too. You know, if I'm willing to put myself out there as an attorney and a prominent member of the community to be an advocate for black men, everybody's obligated to do it.
For sure.
That's kind of my thing. And I do it, like I tell you guys all the time, I do it for self-interest. I have 3 sons, and I want them to grow up in a world where they don't have the stereotypes that we had, you know, deadbeat daddy, thug, criminal, you know, and you got to overcome the negativity before they even get to see who you are, because they see your masculinity and then they see your skin color, and you're already labeled a tyrant or a villain. So, you know, that's the war I'm fighting.
Yeah, man. Yes, sir, man. Shout out, man. Shout out for doing that work, man. But
yes, sir.
So, look, most of the people here already know who you are, okay? I'm pretty sure, okay?
Right. Yes,
so, you know, they know who you are, man. But What I would like to do is ask you a series of questions, since you're on the platform right now, so that people can understand more clearly and thoroughgoingly what you think about a certain set of issues. So the first thing I would like to ask you is, how do you define the Black manosphere, and what is its significance to you?
Well, I'm gonna tell you. So there's been a couple of very major events in my life, and many of them occurred around the same time period. So around 2005, I got married. You do what they say you're supposed to do. I did that. I got married. Around about 2010, I realized that this is not something that's sustainable. So I filed for divorce. And I was willing to bite the bullet, and whatever I was going to have to pay, I was going to have to pay. At the time, I had 2 very small sons. And what you'll learn after you file a divorce is women reap the benefit. Even if you may be the better parent, she's going to get custody of the children because of the tender years doctrine. And so I had to live with the fact that, where I went from seeing my children from the day they were born every day thereafter to seeing them a couple of days a week, from basically from Friday at 6 o'clock to Sunday at 6 o'clock. And that was, very difficult. And of course that leaves a lot of downtime. And I tried to stay busy, but that kind of led me to YouTube, entertainment videos, and then certain things began to pop up. And I'm gonna tell you how I ended up in male-oriented spaces. I was listening to some guy, they call him Angry, MGTOW. And he was beefing with another one called Sandman, MGTOW. And he mentioned BGS Ibmore. And then he mentioned Obsidian. And so I kind of just worked my way through the manosphere. But yeah, those were the first people that I listened to. And BGS Ibmore, who I believe is here right now, big shout out to the
shout out to BGS Ibmore, man.
Yeah, big shout out. That's an unsung hero. He's I don't know if he knows the effect. Well, he probably does know the effect that he had, but I remember this BGS was talking about how, and this is back in 2000, maybe 2014, almost 10 years ago now. He was talking about how, automation is going to take over. And I'm like, what? He said AI. And he was giving predictions that, it made me inquire, like, they're logical. They seem like they lead to a logical end, but how does this guy know this stuff? And so to me, I spent some years on Facebook. I was active on Facebook, and I basically turned my Facebook page into a page where people had to listen to what Black men had to say. I would literally cut and paste what they said and put it on my page, because now I had a better understanding. I know up until that point, I had done everything right. I made my way out of South Central LA. I went to school, stayed out of trouble, got all the education I could, found myself a good little woman to marry, and then it just all blew up in my face. And so it's like, bro, where did I go wrong? I did everything they say you're supposed to do to find happiness, and there was no happiness. There was no contentment. There was no peace of mind. I didn't know what the gynocracy was. I didn't know what the matriarchy was. I had no idea of the breadth and depth of knowledge that was out there, and I didn't really have anybody to talk to. So when I began to listen to people like BGS and then Obsidian, and of course I give a shout out to some of those other content creators like the Sandmans and all those other folks too. But for the most part, when I discovered what we call the Black manosphere, it's like, yeah, these guys understood. So I quietly listened. I didn't interact as much, but I kept living my life. At that point, I was a passport bro before it was called Passport Bros, because I had oftentimes I would have 14 days between the time when I would see my kids again. So what do you do when you're young, you got money,
you
got no responsibilities, everything's paid for, you hop on a flight, so Colombia, Brazil, Dominican Republic, Jamaica. I partied in Jamaica a lot. So much so I got a baby mama in Jamaica.
Damn.
So,
Damn.
You know what I mean? Don't feel sorry for me. I've been fighting a custody battle with her for about the past 8 years. But don't feel sorry for me because that's what I wanted. I wanted and I got it. So I'm willing to deal with it.
So is she still? Does she still live in Jamaica?
I mean, I don't know where she lives at this point, to be honest with you. That's what the custody battle is about. But for the most part, I see my other older 2 sons on a regular basis because, of course, as you know, there are more rights associated with the father when he's married. If you're not married to the woman, she doesn't even have to acknowledge you as a father. You see what I mean? So you have no rights. You got to establish that. But long story short, once I made it through, and I think around about 2000, I said, I can do this too. I think I have something to contribute. And so that's what I started doing, man. I kind of opened up my page, my YouTube page, and I kind of stopped doing the Facebook stuff because I realized the YouTube stuff would be more effective because the people who used to listen to Facebook, they're not there anymore. You know, like they migrate. I think about every 10 or 15 years, people migrate. And now, you know, YouTube. So so this is where I am now. But so big shout out to BGS Ibmore, big shout out to Obsidian. I don't think they get enough credit for what they do, man. I'll say that.
Yeah, shout out to BGS Ibmore, man, and the other people you mentioned. So you gave me some insight then, you know, how you first became involved in the Black Manosphere community.
Pain.
Yeah, I mean, hey, that's how a lot of guys get here. You know, initially they get here through bitter experience. Now, you know, and everybody has a different set of experiences which draw them here. You know, some people, you know, have been able to dodge a lot of bullets and they come here to give people advice. Some people have been through some of these pitfalls and you know, got ensnared in some of these traps. And then they want to, you know, find a place where they can communicate with other people or a community of persons that, you know, they can kind of, you know, trade stories with and, you know, kind of go over what we can do to mitigate some of these circumstances and to try to, you know, help each other psychically, you know, to get through some of these trials and tribulations. Because after all, we are human. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, shit, we got to support each other. If nobody else supports us, who else is going to support us? You know what I'm saying? So, but shout out to the couple of people, man, who hit me up, man, already thus far. Salty Balls says, hail to the barrister, the scholar, and the wisest elder. Shout out to him. And then also to our Jizzle for the $5 hit, man. Appreciate that. So, well, let me say this then. You know, you're a practicing attorney, right?
Yes, I am, doctor.
So how's that influenced, you know, being in the Black Manosphere, how's that influenced your perspective as a practicing attorney?
Well, I think, and you understand this, when you get to a certain level of education, there's not a whole lot of people you can talk to because they don't understand. And when you get to a certain level of economic, I'll just say stability, there's not a lot of people you can talk to because nobody feels sorry for you. But that still doesn't stop you from being a Black man. And what I like to do on my page is let the people know that, and especially to the other professionals, you can have all those accolades, but you're still going to be going through the same crap that the rest of the brothers are going through. If you Google my name right now and you type in attorney arrested, back in 2014, I was arrested by the HPD, or not arrested, but detained by the HPD, placed in handcuffs because they thought I was robbing the ATM machine that's downstairs in my law office. And, and so they pulled up behind me. They got gotten a phone call that somebody was trying to break in the bank, and I guess they must have thought it was a homeless person or whoever. I was leaving my law office on a Friday night, and I happened to be the only Black man there. You know, I was turning around at the ATM machine, and just imagine they approached with no lights. I had my pistol on me.
Oh, man.
Right. And they approached with no lights, and I just heard somebody say, turn around, put your hands up. I didn't know who it was. I could have whipped out thinking it was a criminal, and then, you know, either me and the police would have had a shootout, or somebody unfortunately would end up seriously hurt or worse. And so what I'm trying to do is explain to these guys that I go through the same things as a so-called successful, educated black man, so-called high-value black man, that the rest of the brothers are going through. It might be mitigated by the fact that I got a little bit more education, a few more contacts, and a little bit more money, but you're still dealing with the emotional trauma, the separation. The law does not treat you any better. You might have a better chance in a fight. Maybe you can afford lawyers or better lawyers, but for the most part, we're all going through the same thing. We're all dealing, if you date black women especially, we're all dealing with the same thing. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it. But a lot of guys don't believe that. You know, they assume that, you know, because you have a certain amount of cash, you have a certain amount of education, that all of a sudden everything in your world is just going to magically, you know, change. Like, voila, all of a sudden you have a better set of experiences with the people you interact with. I mean, the system at large, the women you interact with, like all of a sudden everything is just going to be so much better. Yeah. And I'm here to tell you, man, like, look, even I was watching a video by Tommy Curry today, right? Dr. Tommy J. Curry. Yes. And he was talking about how if you compare black women and white women in terms of wages, education, you know, and things like this, like say, for example, if there's similarity related to education, you know, upbringing and things like this, when you control for those factors, black women and white women pretty much, they have the same kind of trajectory in life. But when you put black men next to white men, you see like radical differences in outcomes. Even if, like, say, for example, a black man is educated as much as a white guy is.
Right.
He still has a set of challenges that white guys don't have and that black women don't have. It's a difference. This society is bearing down its weight on black men, right? And, you know, our measuring stick is not white women or black women, but it's going to be other white guys. How are they faring and how do we compare it to them? Even if we achieve, we still got a set of circumstances that they don't have to deal with, that white women don't have to deal with, and that black women don't have to deal with. And that needs to be acknowledged. Got to drop a bomb on that.
Yeah, and you know, the other thing is, Doctor, you think, and I want to kind of go back to this point. They tell you, I want a man who's 6 feet tall with a six-pack, make six figures. Now, I'm definitely over 6 feet tall. I don't have a six-pack, but there was at one time I did, you know. Well, not fully. I ain't gonna even lie like that. Yeah, I was flat at least. You know, I looked like a handsome young black man. But my whole point is, they're gonna move the goalpost and find a reason to disrespect you or be disrespectful or say emasculating things as a black man. I don't have that experience. I didn't have that experience traveling overseas. Women are always going to test you. Women are still women, but they're a different kind of test. But here in the United States, it seemed to me like black American women, be it your mother, your grandmother, your aunties, your sisters, your girlfriend, your wives, if they come from that same culture, they're going to try to find a reason to say, oh, you ain't all that, and show you ain't all that. In other words, bring you down off your high horse as opposed to raising you up and uplifting you. That's what I found. And it's frustrating, but I want to tell you guys, whether you riding around in a 1998 Oldsmobile or a 2023 Rolls Royce, if you're a black man in America, they're going to try to typecast you and treat you a certain way. And you got to really push back against that, set your boundaries, establish those boundaries, and make sure that anybody who tries to violate them, even if they got a title that designates them as the queen, you still got to push back, or you're not going to have that peace of mind that happens. You're always going to feel less than. So in other words, what I'm saying, Doctor, is they move the goalpost the closer you get to it.
Bro, you ain't got to tell me, bro. Look, I got 2 baby mamas my damn self. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is, you know? But I mean, and you would think that, you know, like your level of education, you know, your membership in a fraternity. I mean, these are all things that we were told that provide value. Okay? Right. And it contribute towards the enhancement of your social status. Right. Your income, you know, your networking capacity, that this would, you know, allocate or afford you some sort of respect. Yeah. But in reality, America has a black male problem. We've always been considered to be dangerous. We've always been considered to be regressive. So like the stereotypes, the caricatures, about our pathology extend even within our own community. And it's unfortunate, even black men themselves, we do this to each other also, okay?
Yeah, you still an N-word, no matter, you still, right, yeah.
So we, it's like, I don't care if you got a PhD, you nigga, who cares? You still worth less than the gum underneath the bottom of my gym shoe. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, this is how we feel about each other. And so, like, the society at large, wants to make sure that, how water seeks its own level.
Yeah.
They want to make sure that Negro stays at that level. And unfortunately, damn, this person that you're teaming up with, you would think, okay, this would be that, I thought I was the apple of your eye, whatever the case may be. Nah, man, when the shit hits the fan, boy, you still that low down, dirty ass nigga. Damn. That's killing part, right? That it hurts though, you know what I'm saying? But it is what it is, man.
That's why I got a divorce, man. I ain't dealing with that shit. You don't treat me like that.
So let me give some shout outs, man, before the time elapses and I forget. Simple Shit TV says support black media. Yes, sir. Please do that. And BGS Ibmore says learning from Houston's finest. Hey, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Shout out to him, man. BGS always, man. Black Gnostic speaks, man. Also, Aaron Peter, shout out to him. Says you are really appreciated, brother. Shout out to him. To the Ruthless Heartless Revelator. Man, you changed names, man, like you changed clothes, my brother. You know what I'm saying? He says, Double G and the Blizzard King. Can't get no better than this. I had to put the Negro spin on it. You know what I mean? Right. Also, shout out to Andre M. He says, I'd be interested to get y'all thoughts on the SC, the Supreme Court, rejecting affirmative action in higher education. I know it's off subject, but y'all two would be some of the best in this space to speak on it. So, maybe perhaps we'll touch on that at some point. You know what I'm saying? And from what I understand, BGS says that we got 263 people liking, but we only got 146 likes, man. What's up with that, man? Come on, man.
Get the likes up.
Get the man, get my likes up, man. You know what I'm saying? This should go without saying, man. Get the likes up, please. Shout out to Mike Johnson. He says, Johnston, rather. He says, I appreciate Dr. Green Gorilla and attorney Dennis Spurling. Respect to the brothers. Show you right, man. Appreciate you, brother. Yes, appreciate that. And shout out to Ben Cannon Kenton. He says, behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. It's like the precious ointment upon the head that ran down upon the beard, even Aaron's beard, and descended upon the skirts of his garment. I ain't gonna keep going though, but yeah. Shout out to him, and that's a generous donation. So, I like to give honors to the people who do that. So, thank you. Appreciate that, my brother. Appreciate that, straight up. And so. You still, we're talking about like the condition of black men and, how your social and economic status, although it announces that you've done what needs to be done in order to, announce to the world that you are somebody that you should be respected. Oftentimes it falls short in terms of how the people who are closest to you or should be closest to you, how they treat you and how they think about you. Right. You know what I'm saying? So, and shout out to the Mississippi Delta guy. Shout out to him as well, man. Damn, man, that's a very generous donation, man. Appreciate it. Blizzard King bringing the bread out, man.
They're coming through, man. Mississippi. Mississippi!
Shout out to the Mississippi Delta guy, man. He says, hello, brothers, man. Shout out to him, man. Appreciate that, bro. Straight up. So having said all that, man, what are some of the changing the trajectory of the conversation? What do you think is some of the most critical issues facing black men that the black manosphere uniquely is addressing right now, where you can't get it nowhere else but like in the black manosphere?
Well, I mean, first of all, we get the black male perspective, raw and uncut. It's not filtered through somebody's um, lens or somebody's lawyers. You get black men saying just how they feel from all walks of life. And if you really listen to us, we all are having the same or similar experiences to the point where we all have developed opinions about them. Now, I think the most important thing, and I'm going to borrow a page from the Honorable Thurgood Marshall. He said, you know, King, all that marching and they're creating a political climate. That's great. But what's arising from the manosphere or the black manosphere, the political climate that it's creating, is a overwhelming desire to change the laws. And so you see that happening. I think it was last year, Florida decided to enact some legislation where they give parents 50-50 custody, as opposed to the mother getting getting the majority of the time. I believe Tennessee just enacted a statute or just passed some legislation that said they're making it illegal. Paternity fraud is illegal, and I was involved in a not an organization, but a back and forth, a work group where we're talking about doing some stuff in Maryland. I was actually invited to come speak to the legislator. So I think the political climate that the manosphere is creating is leading to legislative changes because it's been around 10 years. So you got people who were 35 and now they're 45. You got people who were 25, and I know it's been around longer than that. I'm just talking about the most recent adaptation of what we call the manosphere has been around long enough to have had a societal impact. And now people who may have been in college are influencing others. They're out in the workforce. They're entering into politics. They're lawyers. They're doctors. They're teachers. And so it's beginning to cause some lasting change. Thurgood Marshall said, y'all can march all y'all want, but until we actually create some legislative changes and get some laws enacted, nothing's going to change. So I think that's the greatest product of the manosphere, aside from the political climate that is creating the social, I guess the change in the social dynamic, this change in the social, oh my God, I don't know. How do I want to put this and be exactly right? We are, the social climate is changing, the political climate is changing, and all that can be sourced back to what we do right here on YouTube, especially gentlemen like you, and Dr. Tia Johnson, and of course the other great minds here. So, you know, kudos to you guys for that.
Wow. That's, and you know, one of the things I think is this, you know, a lot of people, you know, kind of say that, you know, what goes on here in the black manosphere is nothing but a bunch of bitching and moaning and complaining.
No.
And that, you know, it's really actually pointless. Nothing ever comes out of it. But I think that what happens is when you got a group of people sharing their experiences and kind of outlining the problems that they have, what you do is you raise awareness. Okay. So by sharing your thoughts and your ideas online, you can actually draw attention to important issues that might be overlooked. And that increases awareness.
Right.
And it basically, it has the potential to filter into understanding among a wider audience, people outside of the context of the manosphere. You know what I'm saying?
I do, Doctor. Let me, I'm not braggadocious, but don't overlook the fact, folks, that I'm a practicing attorney and I do a lot of contributions to judges and politicians. And they know me because of my stance. And they know that I am pro-black male. And they know that whether they're man, woman, you know, whatever they are, that if they want my contribution, then they're going to have to be fair when black men appear before them. They know that, they know that. And so I don't think you all realize the effect. This is not just men talking on the internet and complaining. This is men helping influence other men who can change policy if they themselves can't do it. So keep that in mind. We have a nation that's run by people, and the people, you could buy a judge for $35,000. You can help them get a district court judge in a major American city can be financed for $35,000. I think there's YouTubers that make that every month. So just keep that in mind. You are having an effect. So keep speaking. This is not just a bunch of guys aimlessly babbling on the internet. This is serious business. That's why it's so dangerous to the status quo. So
correct.
Yeah.
So the idea is that, look, this is the Black Manosphere to me is a public or an online community, and their ideal places, online communities are for discussion and debate. And by speaking up, you can help stimulate the conversations that might lead to new insights about various issues and perspectives, especially those related to Black men. And then also, again, it's a powerful tool for shaping public opinion. Right. Because by participating in online discussions, you can actually shift attitudes and norms. Yeah. But like I said a long time ago, I made a video saying, Black men, you don't need permission to speak. Right. You don't need permission to speak, but there'll be people who try to tell you, well, what you're saying is unimportant, or what you're saying, you need to stop it, or, you're not really actually speaking power. You kind of, seating yourself in victimization. I'm like, look, man, whatever it is that's on your mind, man, you have a right to speak on it, man. Yeah. Whether it's in song, whether it's online, whether it's writing a book, whether it's making a movie, whether it's writing, like a TV script or a movie script, whatever it is that you feel like you're going through, joy, pain, hope, like despair, whatever it is, man, you need to express it so that you can have a larger understanding of the human experience of Black men, man. And to me, it's important to me. You know what I'm saying?
It is. I agree. And I want to share another perspective with you. I make myself visible because I want to be a target. I want to smoke. I feed off the conflict. But when people are able to hide their identity, they can speak the truth. They don't have to worry about being judged. So you really learn what people actually think. The internet provides an opportunity for people who would not otherwise speak to voice their opinion. So you get a more exact poll of what people actually think. I wish I had this in the legal system where I can figure out what jurors think ahead of time. They could be honest with, but people lie when you see them. You see what I'm saying? They lying.
Yeah.
They don't want you to. I don't hate these bitches. They can't say that like they want to. But if they get a chance to hide behind or hide their true identity, and you can only hear their personality, right? Then you're like, oh wow, they really feel like that. I believe it was one YouTuber said, if you want to know what men really think, go over to Dennis Spurling's page, because I'm able to get them to show their faces because I do. But for the most part, these men reflect what thousands and maybe hundreds of thousands of men feel. The guys who might just beat you up in the comment section, the guys who might appear from behind a dark screen. But the thing is, we know what they think. So now we can predict what they're going to do. We can predict their actions. We can predict they're going to, what hobbies, not hobbies, but what social changes they're going to make. I think we all could predict Passport Bros because we knew it was happening. I think it wasn't until Kevin Samuels passed away that the brothers were like, oh, well, on to the next option. He tried, it didn't work. We're moving on. You see? And so, it's just amazing. There's so many jewels and gems here. I think people will be studying this in the academy over the next 30 years when they realize the effect that it's had on society, in my opinion.
Now, another question I want to ask you is, what kind of challenges have you faced or controversies have you had to deal with due to your involvement? Because you show your face, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
And you're an attorney in Houston. Uh-huh. And I'm pretty sure like some of the, some of the content can be considered controversial. Yeah. Like what controversies have you had to deal with related to your involvement with the Black Manosphere?
Hold on.
No, you got
all right.
Take a drink on that one, shit. Hold on, wait a minute. Hey, wait.
Okay. Man, I have. Well, of course, I fell out with relatives, fell out with family members. I hadn't spoken to. I probably hadn't spoken to my own maternal mother in a couple of years now.
Wow.
Hadn't spoken to my sisters in a couple of years, because according to them, I hate black women.
Yeah.
Let me see. I got a lot of. Let me say it like this: when I'm out in public, for the most part, I get a lot of appreciation from the fellas. But behind, there's some angry women out there. There's some angry dudes out there because I'm saying things that goes against that. Now, I've been attacked in that I had several women write the bar association on me.
Oh man,
right? The bar association, get this out of here. This ain't even your lawyer. You mad about some lawyer saying something on TV or some YouTube? Get out of here. I recently, and this is new, I recently had the FBI show up at my law office.
Oh man, that's crazy. It's a motherfucker.
The
man.
FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigations, in conjunction with the Houston Police Department, showed up next to my law office. Showed up in my law office. I share office space with a prominent Houston area congressman, so they had their own police force there. And either way, Al Green is his name. They showed up at my law office, and my staff said, "Well, Mr. Spurling's not available because, I don't care who you are. Make an appointment, and you pay me if you want to see me." You see what I mean? But nevertheless, once I got wind of it, I didn't believe it. So I began to review the footage. And so I was looking at the video footage, and I'm like, these don't look like FBI officers. This looks like somebody pretending they work for the FBI. So I ended up calling the police on them, making a report. The police didn't initially want to make a report. And then I said, okay, well, this is what's going to happen. I'm going to come down to your precinct, and I'm going to talk to your supervisor about why you don't want to make a report. And so then they showed up 4 deep at my office, and it just so happened that the actual FBI agent who's working with the HPD, he called me back on my phone because I'm like, I don't believe you're an FBI officer, and I'm gonna report you, and I'm gonna see if I can do whatever I can to get you put in the penitentiary for impersonating an FBI officer. So either way, we end up having a conversation, and after I got through with him, he didn't want to meet me anymore. I said, as a matter of fact, not only do I want to meet you, I'm going to sue the people who made these false police reports about me, and you're going to be my star witness. This is what I told the FBI guy. I said, because see, here's what's happening. When you got people from New York, and these are the people, and I got their names and I got their information, even the one that tried to be anonymous. When you got people from New York and Virginia and St. Louis saying that you advocate deleting BWs, that is what is called RICO. That is a civil RICO lawsuit. It's not just defamation. It's civil RICO. I said, so I'm going to sue them right here in the Southern District of Texas. I'm going to subpoena all your records, and you're going to be my star witness. And so after I got through with him, he didn't want to talk anymore. I hadn't heard from him since then. And I said, but no, Mr. Spurling, we going to let you go. Matter of fact, my supervisor is your frat brother. We know you. We. I'm like, yeah, I bet you do now. So the FBI backed down. The Bar Association said this is bullshit. I've even had these lovely ladies called Quanell X. You know Quanell X?
No, I don't know who Quanell. Who's Quanell X, man?
He's a brother he's a black man who is like he like an Al Sharpton, but a Muslim type. And so he's been around. So
they telling on you, and they gonna sick somebody on you is what they doing.
They trying to sick. So he called me up about 3 or 4 months ago, and I'm like, Quanell X. So I looked him up. I'm like, oh, you went to Crenshaw High School. Oh, you from Compton? I say, yeah. So he called my law office. I called him up. I'm like, hey, what's up? How you doing? And he said, man, I've been getting women calling me from all over America telling me about you, man, brother. What? I'm like, man, first of all, brother, I'm not going to stop what I'm doing no matter what, period. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. He said, oh, yeah, brother, I can see that you kind of old school. I'm like, yeah, I'm old school. Matter of fact, you went to school with my cousins. I'm from South Central LA. You from Compton. I ain't heard from him since then. You see what I'm saying? So whoever they throw at me, I'm dealing with them. But again, this is what happens when you show your face. You invite the conflict. But see, here's the lesson I'm teaching you, brothers. As an attorney, if I can't defend myself, how could you expect me to defend you? But more importantly, the heat is going to come. The question is, are you going to be ready to deal with it? I don't have anything to hide. I've had to sue trolls. I had to sue my baby mama because she decided to hop on the internet with a troll and say bad things about me. So I sued both of them for defamation and dragged their ass through court for about almost a year. But yeah, it's been a lot of backlash, but I ain't stopped. I'm still doing my shows on a nightly basis, but I've given a lot. You know, I can't necessarily go where I want to go. I went to the Foundational Black American conference hosted by Tariq Nasheed. I brought my own security guard, my two armed police officers, because I have my sons there with me. I wanted them to be there. So, you know, I've had to change some things up, you know, but I'm not going to stop. And that's what people need to understand. As long as Black men need an advocate, I'm going to continue being an advocate for Black men. I don't care who doesn't like it. I don't care. It's just like I am trying our adversaries in the court of public opinion. And there are a lot of people who don't want me to keep speaking because apparently I'm very effective at it. You know, with the little sayings, these hoes, which is of course a Basque word, which means come here. It's from the Basque language. It means come here. Lovely ladies, you know, instead of calling them motherfuckers, it's the same. So these lovely ladies, because you know, I don't want to put that energy out there. But right. You know, I'm doing that. And oftentimes you don't have lawyers who are on my level who are willing to throw it all away just to be an advocate for Black men. But you get to a point, I'm at 49, I don't give a shit no more. You know what I mean? I don't have a whole lot. I got less life in front of me than I have behind me. What's my mark gonna be? What's the point of living a long time if your children got to suffer through the same things you had to suffer from? You see what I mean? So, you know, that's where I'm at, man. And that's how I was raised, you know, representing that West Side, man, to the casket drop, you know, woo woo. I ain't backing down, homie.
Big up on that one. Big up on that one, man. Yeah, man. So, I mean, it seems like you've had to deal with quite a few challenges, man, you know. But moving on to another question.
Yeah. So, let me say it like this, man. I deal with it because I'm built for it. You know, everybody ain't built like this. Again, I was born and raised in South Central LA in the 80s and 90s. I was raised in a war zone. So motherfucker telling the FBI on me, I don't give a fuck. That's just some more police. What you gonna do? Put me in jail? I ain't think I was gonna live past 26. Right. So that ain't shit, you know. But
so my viewpoint on this shit is this, man. Look, what we're doing is having conversations about issues and problems that we have with Black women, white men, white women, any demographic, because nobody spares the rod when it comes to having discussions and talking about what the fuck we out here doing. Right. I mean, have you heard anybody hold back in the way that they depict us, the way they talk about us, the way they say shit about us, the way they slander us? People subject us to harm all the fucking time. Yeah, they do. But the point is the state has sanctioned harm to come to us. It is what it is. That's just that's how they roll. So people, they pull that trigger. They hit that button, you know, that nuclear explosion button, that launcher button. They hit that button whenever they feel like hitting that button in order to destroy our reputation, to take our money away, to have us incarcerated, you know, or to have us deleted, whatever the case may be. You know, nobody has an issue when it's directed towards us, but as soon as we start talking, having conversations, speaking, expressing, talking, then it's all of a sudden it's a big fucking problem. Now you need to go tell. I'm sorry to say, man. To me, if you go to a white person because a Black man is on fucking YouTube or a social media site saying some shit that you feel like is, you know, something that you don't approve of because it's disrespectful. Right. Come on, man. That's some straight. That shows that you really actually you want to see us dead.
Yeah. I mean, I've had people wish death on me too. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I've been accused of, murdering Kevin Samuels, international sex trafficking, DV, child abuse, pedophilia, What else? I cheated on my wife with my baby, my adultery, all kind of shit. As somebody said, I'm not a real lawyer. I'm a has-been lawyer. I mean, just anything, you know. And it's like, okay, but again, man, I'm built for this. You know, it don't really phase me like that. You know, I mean, I hear it, but it's like, all right, whatever. I'm gonna still keep going though. Like I'm not gonna stop. Like I don't think. And see, here's the thing. I feel like I'm right in my position to defend Black men. In other words, I feel like it is my God-given right to speak life into Black men. I feel like it is my right to teach Black men how to defend themselves in the court of public opinion by giving them facts and pointing to them where the issues really lie. I feel like that's my right. And I don't care what man says. I don't care what society says, because I'm a Black man. And you're not going to tell me that I don't have a right to defend myself or teach my Black brothers, especially my Black brothers in America, that how to defend themselves, and they have a right to do it. Look, my kids are masters in martial arts because I told them it's more important for you to learn how to fight than to read. Because you can read all day, but if somebody whooping your ass, you can't even focus. So you learn to fight, in other words, be a warrior in the garden. And that's my thing, man. You know, and they're not gonna get me to back down from teaching the ones that look like me to protect themselves. I'm just not gonna do it. You see what I mean? And so it don't really matter who they send my way. You understand what I'm saying, bro? Like, this is how I feel about it. I come from the vein of a Malcolm X. I come from the vein of a Martin Luther King. I come from the vein of a Farrakhan. And then you add that South Central LA gangster mentality in it. I'm not gonna back down. You understand what I'm saying, bro? And I think that, and then you put the fact that, yeah, I got the law degrees and I know my law and I know I know my rights. So, you know, fuck all y'all. You see what I'm saying? I'm not backing down. We're gonna keep pushing to the casket drop. You see what I'm saying? I think it's necessary, you know, and I want to be a good example. You know, I don't really care what my enemies have to say about me, as long as my brothers respect me. And you brothers y'all don't even have to love me. You don't even have to fucking like me. As long as you respect me for what I did for you in the time period that I was here. That's it. You know what I mean?
For sure, for sure. So having said that, let me do some quick housekeeping. It ain't very much, man. And if you enjoy the content here, man, you know, please support the Green Gorilla channel in any way you can. Hit the Cash App up, man. Hit a super chat, man. You know, we popping today, man. We got the Blizzard King in the motherfucking his house, man. You know what I'm saying? Hey, look. So, you know, let me shout out Ben Cannon Kitten. He says cognitive dissonance. And that was when you were talking about the kind of things that were going on with your experience with the FBI. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, or people, you know, coming to investigate you. Because, like, all that to me is high-tech lynching, if you ask me. That's what that shit is, bro.
They tried it, but then I flipped the script on them like, y'all, okay, you play with me, I'm going to play with you. You see what I'm saying? Right. I'm going, like I literally said, I'm going to sue those people who reported me, and you're going to be my star witness. You see what I'm saying? You're going to give me all the police reports, everything they said. I'm going to sue them for RICO, civil RICO. A lot of lawyers don't know about that. You got RICO action, how they put the mob out of business, but you also have RICO under the civil law. I can sue them and make their life very difficult, especially since it was conspiracy. You had a whole bunch of people reporting me at the same time, and then these motherfuckers show up at my door, fucking with me on a motherfucking Friday. Get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean?
And see, the thing is, look, one can argue some of the things we say here might not be popular, but the shit that we're saying here is not fucking illegal, man.
Yeah, illegal. And you know, they can't buy me because I got enough money, and I realize money is not that important. I'm not gonna stop talking. You can't scare me because I don't give a fuck. You know, I mean, I done lived a long life. I done lost a lot of my homeboys. I done dealt with a whole lot of pain, just like many of you black men. It's like, I hate to say it like this, and I definitely want to live as long as possible, but I'm not afraid of death. And see, when you get to that point, when you embrace it like it's gonna happen, well, let me sprint this last, 2 or 3 miles, of life that I have left, and be the best I can be and set an example for the ones that come behind me. There's nothing you can do with me. You see what I mean? And that's what makes me dangerous, because I'm not afraid. And there's not a whole lot of black men out there who aren't afraid. I say wild shit. I got lawyers all the time. Oh my God, how do you talk like that on the internet? Because it's true. And I know who I'm talking. I'm talking to my brothers. And I want to let them know. And I try not to be overly vulgar. You know, sometimes I cuss a little too much. I should.
Yeah, I do too. But cursing is not illegal either. I mean,
it's not illegal. But that's why I took my show to be like late at night. So I know it's just grown-ups watching, because I don't want kids listen using that language in the third grade when they get there. But the bottom line, man, it needs to be said, and it's about effective communication. But no, man, I ain't worried about that shit.
But you know, the funny thing is, you take a group of black men in the manosphere and they'll say some words like bitches, hoes, shit like this. All of a sudden, everybody gets hot and bothered and shit. But these same women, man, will be fucking listening to, no disrespect to these guys, but they'll be listening to motherfucking 21 Savage and, it's Kodak Black and Cardi B and all these motherfuckers and Glorilla. It's all bitches and hoes and all this kind. It's all good then.
Right.
But as soon as you hear any other person use that kind of language, then it becomes regressive, like surprising, morally incomprehensible, superbly unethical, intolerable. It's like, hold on, wait a minute. It's cool in one domain, but like when we start talking real shit, now all of a sudden we have to, temper ourselves. We have to, restrain and kind of like protect the emotive, the status of the women. And fuck all that, man. Like, I'm not into infantilizing or dealing with people, man, on some fainting couch bullshit. I don't deal with the fainting couch, bro.
Yeah, they don't want to hear
with the fainting couch, bro.
They can't. Their ears can't take it. Turn the channel off.
And nobody's forcing you to listen to anything that we have to say here.
Right.
Nobody is.
Right.
So, but having said all that, man, to move the trajectory of the conversation once again, what changes? And this is a two-part question. What changes, if any, would you like to see within the space called the Black Manosphere? And how do you handle disagreements within the Black Manosphere? And this is going to lead into, the next subject matter, which is, your new television show, Co-Parenting with the Spurling. So how do you deal with disagreements within this space? And what changes would you like to see in the space?
I mean, so I was put out of the Black Manosphere by somebody. Okay, somebody sent me an email. They coming for you. They're gonna put me out. You ain't got to ask me out. I'm gonna leave. You understand? My thing is, I do this because I have something to say, and I want all the men who have something to say it. I wish it could be more respectful, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. This is the nature of it. It's worked so far. Let it keep working. What changes would I really wouldn't make any changes, because this is organic. This happened. This is a think tank. And sometimes you got to do a little cussing and disagreeing to get to flesh the ideas out. I think there should be more men who enter them. I wish there were more men who joined YouTube and then got cordoned off to the Black Manosphere. That's what I wish, because then now we have bigger brains. We have more experiences. So I would not necessarily change anything. Like, it might be imperfect, but it's imperfect for a reason. If that makes it serves the purpose that it's supposed to serve. There's something in it for everybody. Its tentacles are everywhere. So let it be what it is. Again, it would be great if it was more respectful, but maybe that's part of why it's so effective. Because
it's real. It's unfiltered. It's unadulterated. It is what it is.
Yeah.
You don't have to watch it if you don't like it, but it is exactly what it is. And my whole thing about it, man, it's just a lot of fake ass conversations that are happening in this society at the current moment. And to me, they're curated and moderated by a bunch of phony ass white motherfuckers, man, telling you what you can and what you can't say, what's fair or unfair, what's just or unjust. And they the dirtiest motherfucking things in sight, bro. Real talk. Like, all of a sudden, you were colonial settlers and shit. who committed genocides to millions of people. You enslaved millions of people. Then you subjected them to terror after that shit, segregation and lynching and shit like that. Now all of a sudden you got the keys to the game on what morality is all about, man. Fuck that. That's some bullshit, man. Now you're gonna tell us what's fair, what's unfair, what's progressive, what's not progressive. And look, just look at the society at large, man. Ain't much really changed.
Right.
It ain't like the middle class is expanding at the current moment. Yeah. It's not like, the jobs are coming back like in manufacturing and, it's not as if there's an enhanced quality of life in the American citizenry that's happened over the place of 40, 50 years. The shit is shrinking. But anyway, the whole point is white women, man, basically hijacked the civil rights movement, man, and them motherfuckers been moderating the conversation, determining single-handedly what the fuck can and what can't be said. Yeah. And to me, that's just some bullshit. And everybody's hitching their wagon to it. Sorry, gay people are hitching their wagon to that shit. Black women are hitching their wagon to that shit. It's like we got to deal with the overarching, phony-ass morality and sensibility of white women, man. Yeah. And I'm quite frankly, I'm like, somebody's got to push back against this.
Yeah, or we just ignore them. And I tell black men all the time, you're free. You're free to come and go as you choose. You're free to believe what you choose to believe. I mean, that's my overarching message. You want to stay in the black community and help rebuild it, by all means, go ahead. You're free. You're not obligated to do it, but you're free. If you want to be a passport bro, you want to travel overseas, you're free to do that. I just want brothers to know they're free. I don't want them to think they're bound to, I got to go to school, I got to get a job, I got to get a doctorate degree or a law degree or become an engineer to be success. There's a young man right now traveling across the world, Austin Holloman. I think he's a barber. I think he might have a high school diploma. He looked like he having a blast to me. I wish I'd spent my 20s doing that instead of struggling.
Yeah, I do too, man. He's having the experience of a lifetime.
Yeah, like, are you kidding me? So yeah, that's freedom. That's what freedom looks like. And so, that's my overarching message, because that's not something that was conveyed to me when I was young. Either I was going to be a football player or a basketball player. I was going to make some money, and that's what I was going to do. And I was going to take care of some kids and my mama and all that shit. I had shackles on me and burdens on me from the time I was little. But I'm like, fuck all that. You free. You don't be subjected to those social shackles that tell you that you're still slaves and you're enslaved. You're free. Now, that's the main thing I want the brothers to know. If that was I wish I could convince more black men in the manosphere to say that. But again, that's not my place. I have my broadcast, but that's what I got.
So anyway, man, having said all that, man, it's time to move into more lighthearted subject matter. But before I do that, I would like to again address some people in the chat, which I have not been doing a good job of doing. So shout out to MC Recovery and Relapse. He says, GG, got your little homeboy Dennis straight out of South Central LA in the house. I'm from Figueroa. Sorry about that. Engage Ave. My little sister said I'm a male chauvinist. And look, man, every criticism that men make, or every expression that they're making about what they feel or what they think, or what they consider to be justice or injustice, it can't be reduced. Everything we say cannot be reduced to this whole concept of misogyny or like woman haters or chauvinistic people, people, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just, you can't reduce everything we're saying to something malevolent and immoral, which is, it's convenient to do that. But come on, man, that's some bullshit, man. That's a cop-out.
Here's the thing on that. My question is, okay, so what if I am? What are you going to do about it? Like, I'm a chauvinist, so what are you going to do about it? I've been a nigga for 400 years. Now I'm a chauvinist. Okay, so what are you going to do about it? Because you can be a nigga, but as long as you're not getting treated like a nigga, it don't matter. You see what I'm saying? I can be a male chauvinist, but is that going to stop me from eating? You going to stop me from getting a job? You going to stop me from taking care of my kids, my house? Fuck it, I'll take that name. It ain't no big deal. Stop. I tell brothers, don't worry about the shaming language because that's just shaming language. You're a male chauvinist. You're a sexist. Okay, well, what are you gonna do about it? Because if it ain't nothing you can do about it, oh well. You can't enforce your will. You can't make me change. So whatever. Fuck you.
But you know, you're courageous in that regard. But for some guys, some people's professions are connected to like their image or whatever the case may be, and there are mechanisms in place that people can utilize in certain professions to typecast you in a certain kind of way and to have you ousted. You understand what I'm saying? And because in America your employment is a big factor in your retirement and whether or not you have health insurance and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of guys are like, well, let me, be careful and be kind of, political about how I broach these subjects. But, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm like, man, America, this is some cupcake bullshit. Like, come on, man. Like, white people, they were saying nigger and all kind of ignorant shit until the 64 Civil Rights Act was passed. Now there's this new veneer of morality everywhere. Not everybody has to be politically correct, and nobody's talking about the real issues. Yeah. Now women, and look, I'm not saying that women don't have a certain unique set of issues, man, that they have to deal with in society. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is when you equate the horror of racism and the past, like the injustice related issues, of the past, and you equate them with sex. Come on, man. It's a different fucking ball game, man. It's a whole different animal, man. White women weren't brought over here against their will to toil from sea to can't see for 200-300 years, man. It didn't happen. You know what I'm saying? If you look at the pictures, and this is why I like to, I like to show pictures, because a picture is worth 1,000 words. You understand what I'm saying? You see these lovely ladies right here? You want to talk about, we're going to use your nomenclature today.
Those are horrible ladies right there, bro.
You see those lovely ladies? Those lovely ladies right there. They were like, they consider themselves to be a minority group now. I'm just saying, like, they present at lynchings, little girls and all this kind of shit, like, we're not part of it. You're part of the Klan.
All in it. Yeah. That's why
I'm not saying that, I'm not saying every white person was in it, but I mean, like, they were part of this project, man. Now all of a sudden, hold on, wait a minute. Now all of a sudden, like, every issue is related to them and what they deserve, and like, this is the way forward to deal with the issues. No, this is not the right path or conduit. Yeah. I'm just saying, like, they got all of the benefits and the boons associated with what black people put themselves at risk for during the civil rights era.
They roll around,
and now we can't say shit. Now black men better not say shit. Yeah. We just better be quiet. Be good little niggas. Don't say nothing. And then just accept whatever caricatures and stereotypes that white people have used to typecast us. Now they're saying that we're the biggest cause of harm to the black community itself. Like, nobody's harming us. We just harming all the women and the children in the community. And I'm not saying that we don't. But to act as if there's also nothing happening to black men in the community, it's just a bunch of bullshit. But anyway, man, shout out to Ghetto User, man. Also, shout out to Brotherly Love 215 for renewing your membership. Also, shout out to Kobe 42. He says, black men, we got to be able to have disagreements like Joe Clark and Frank Napier and Lean on Me. It's over. See, after it's over, let's get something to eat. True indeed. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to David White. He said support black media. Yes, indeed. I see you sent me something in the private chat. Okay, damn, you got to take your kids to karate at 7 o'clock. My bad, bro. You know what I'm saying? Let me hurry up and get you out of this joint, man. Hold on. I'm just gonna thank these people, man, and keep it pushing. Great stream. I'll catch the playback later. Haven't listened to Dennis before, so I didn't know he had a little pookie in him. Hey, man, if you black in America, man, it's almost guaranteed you got some pookie in you. Shout out to Blade Runner. He says, keep applying pressure. Shout out to him for the COP bucks, man. Appreciate that. Mississippi Delta guy says, yours is the world and everything, the Senate. and which is more you'll be a man. That's if Roger Kipling. Yeah, I do know what that is. You know what I'm saying? I definitely know that. So having said all that, bro, let's get to the lighthearted shit, man. I want to show a couple of clips. I'm gonna show the first clip, and then we gonna get into it. I'm gonna make you a little bit little though, because I want everybody to see this in big screen format. You know what I mean?
No problem.
So.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Spurling, and I am divorced from this guy.
So you pop up in my, where are you and Cap about to go?
I know that there are teachers in the public school system who care.
That's my business, not your business.
Our business, our kids, my business.
Yeah. You love me. I love you too. You gonna make me proud. Okay, give me a kiss.
All right, man, Dennis, man, that's your new show you got. I mean, which, I think you've done this before, but I mean, you're taking another stab at it, okay?
Yeah.
So tell me, what's the inspiration behind the show, co-parenting with the Spurners? Like, where can we watch it? Like, like what's going on with this thing here, man?
Yeah,
Shout out to the brother KP Bailey. Mrs. KP Bailey, who hit me up on the Cash App, and the other individual, man, I'm looking right now. The Ruthless Heartless Revelator, man. Appreciate that. Hit the Cash App up, man. Anyway, keep it pushing, man.
So we always got people telling us what black men don't do. Black men don't do this, and black men don't do that. So I took $250,000 of my own money. I was gonna buy me a Rolls Royce, but I took that $250,000 of my own money, and I said I'm gonna put a television show together to help change the image of black men. And it began to get conceptualized because of my involvement here in the manosphere. And you're going to hear some of those, what they call red pill talking points. You'll hear some of it. My discussions related to therapists, especially female therapists. You will see some of the different things. You'll see my sons. There's a scene where I have a big black dog, and you'll see them respond to the dog the same way she responds to the dog, because they're being around her, they have female coping mechanisms. So they respond with fear, as opposed to when I was a little boy being raised by a bunch of men. I see a dog, I'm gonna go pet it. You see what I mean? And so these subtle things you'll be able to see. But the main point was, in 2015, there was a CDC report that came out that said black men are the most involved fathers of all the other groups of men. And I'm like, yeah, that's my life. I do everything I can to spend time with my kids. Like, I enroll them in all these extra activities just so I could have a reason to pick them up from school and Uber them to where they need to be, get that 30-minute conversation in, watch them for an hour and get that 30-minute conversation back. So instead of just seeing them 2 times or 4 times a month, now I get to see them almost every day, because I get to debrief them. How was your day? How you doing? And so, it was me basically working around that custody agreement, trying to do everything I can and spend as much time with my children as I can, which is what a lot of black men do. We go that extra effort, and that needs to be put on a television show. That needs to be part of the imagery that we see on a daily basis. So co-parenting with the Spurlings is actually something, and mind you, this is the middle of the last decade when this was not a very popular idea. Remember back then, at that time, you had ratchet hoes from Hollywood, ratchet hoes from Atlanta, skanks from, you had all the rotten ratchet shows going on. It wasn't no positivity. You see what I mean? But I knew that this is something that's necessary. Here's another one. I even show you guys how back then, not only was I a passport bro, but I was taking my sons with me. There's a time where I take them to the Dominican Republic, and I don't want to spoil the show, but I take them there. We go to the slave history museums down in Santo Domingo. We talk about that. They get a chance to interact with those other kids, and those. So it's very interesting. You see my ex-wife out there dating, getting back out there on that roller coaster.
Yeah.
Doing her thing, you know what I'm saying? You see me with my slabs, and I got to grow up now. I got to sell the cars so I can put the money in, all kind of stuff. Me trying to interact with this lovely lady from the gynocracy. And then what y'all will be able to see is like, wow, I see why. That's the same thing. It's gonna trigger a lot of people. Some of this is gonna trigger some of you brothers because you're gonna see your mother, you're gonna see your wife, you're gonna see your girlfriend, you're gonna see your baby mama in this. And so it's gonna trigger you brothers, but it definitely does tell our story. It's light, you know what I mean? You see me dealing with also Just Brittany is in there, a lot of rappers and entertainers in there. Interesting day to day. Is not over the top. Nobody's gonna get shot. There's no drug use. Ain't no members of the Rainbow Coalition. There's nothing woke about it. It's a modern day Bill Cosby show. And I have it coming on my channel, Dennis Spurling, and then also Esquire Entertainment on YouTube. It'll be every Thursday starting next week at 7 p.m. Central Time, which is 8 p.m. Pacific Time. And of course, that's 5 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Central Time, and 8 p.m. Eastern Time. It occupies a spot the Bill Cosby show used to occupy back in the 80s, because I want to take that night back for black TV. You see what I'm saying? And
Yes,
you can
sir.
do it, you know, and that's the thing, fellas. Nobody told me to do it. The idea started here. I used my own money, put my own resources together, my own ingenuity. I used people that helped me make lawyer commercials. And then we did music videos. I'm like, we can do all that. We can do TV shows. And so that's what I did right here in Houston, Texas. Ain't no white people finance me. It's my own money. $250,000 of my own money. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a significant investment.
Yeah,
Man.
yeah. To help change the image of black men and black women. So y'all remember that when they say, "Oh, black men don't do nothing. Black men don't build nothing. Black men have no control of their image." All you got to do is watch it next Thursday. Think about that. The only thing I ask you all to do is watch it next Thursday. But go ahead, brother.
Yeah. So the other question is, like, how did you, you talked about the business, right? How does somebody, put something like this together themselves if they want to do something like that? How do you do it?
Well,
And then I know you got to get your kids to karate. So
yeah, we got like 30 minutes. They'll be coming down in a minute. You'll see them out. Be around here hustling. My boy, man, it's funny. So I got my son studying over. He's in an advanced engineering program, and he's actually doing well now. He's doing well, and studying for the SAT is like $1,700 a month for him to take these classes every day during the summer. And so after about 5 months, this is supposed to significantly bring up his SAT. I'm like, son, man, you might be able to get in one of them white people school up at Harvard or Yale. He's like, I don't want to go there, Daddy. I'm like, what you mean? You don't want to go? I want to go to TSU. You want to go to Texas Southern instead of Harvard? No. He said, yeah, Daddy, I want to go up there with them white people. I'm like, all right, I got to respect the man. You see what I mean?
Yeah, I get it. My only thing is, look, man, a lot of times, kids, they want to be surrounded by people who they know, and I mean, there's something to be said about environment and, how white people can be hostile. But the one thing they have to be mindful of is that, that comforting feeling that you got being around a whole bunch of black people at an institution, whether it be a school, a team or something like that. Like when you get out into the wider world, it ain't gonna just be no black, people like spreading their arms around you. You're gonna have to interact with these white folks. The earlier you learn how to actually interact with them, the easier it'll be. That's just my opinion.
I think he's seen my life. And for the most part, I got a black law firm. I live in a black neighborhood. I went to a black undergrad, black law school. I did do a year at Tulane, but for the most part, that was in the heart of New Orleans. So I've always been around black. I've never stopped being a black man. I don't cut my words. I don't try to speak like this when I'm,
oh, hell no, I can't do that, bro.
So he's seen a black man who has always been a black man and act like a black man, and I can't be mad at him. He's a black man. He's proud of it. He can go on over there and get him one of them big booty girls from Third Ward if you want to. Go on over there, boy. Get you one of them fine girls over there and enjoy your life. But no, man, let's get back to the business of. So here's the thing, man. First of all, you got to understand that if there's a will, there's a way. Okay, that's the first thing. And so the other thing you got to understand is I started off doing TV commercials. I filmed my first TV commercial in 2010. Okay, it was very boring. Next couple of commercials, I incorporated my kids. I had some lowriders, funny. You know what I mean? I started meeting people and building people. I realized that I needed a soundtrack, so I started doing recording music because I ain't trying to pay nobody to do some music. I have never, okay, a black man, I make my own music before I pay somebody else to make music for me. So I start putting my catalog of music together, and it's under D-Demond, it's on the internet. And so I incorporated my own music. I said, well, hell, let me see if we can make some videos. So we started making music videos, just fun stuff. We use B-roll and whatever. And I said, I got this crazy idea. I want to do a reality show. And so I want to showcase what I'm doing with my ex-wife because I think it's unique. Co-parenting with the Spurlings, especially a black family. Because I knew then, based on the out of wedlock birth rate, it's going to be something that was happening and it's going to be necessary. And, you know, at that time, she and I were getting along pretty good. We wasn't no custody battles pending. So we took the time, put it together. I brought in some of the people, the showrunner, Alexis Robbie. He was the showrunner. He brought all the talent in, all the behind the scenes people in. And man, we started filming. We rented one of those RVs, and we was riding around the cities. Everything was plotted out. It was cool. And actually, $250,000 sounds like a lot, but for 16 episodes, it's actually very efficient. But the sound is going to be great. The lighting is going to be great. You guys are going to see it's edited, the lower thirds. Everything is great. You know, all the paperwork is signed. And again, you can do it. It's something you can do. You can do your city. I did my city. It's not something I can't do again. I could do it again, but I just don't have the time because, of course, my kids are older. My law practice is a lot busier. But the business aspect, if you want to know about it more, you'd have to, maybe we could talk or something like that. But it's not something I can fill you in one day. But you got to have the right people in the right places. I will say that. But that's all I got for that, bro.
So what's a learning experience that you had while actually producing the show?
Woo, trying to get along with your ex-wife. It's the learning experience, boy. Oh, man. A lot of conflict resolution. You see what I mean? Because there was the show forces you to relive things. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like writing your autobiography. You sit there and cry because it's like, damn, that was a hard time for me. So now I got to relive some of the situations I dealt with my ex-wife. You see what I mean? And I ain't like it. She ain't like it either, and it shows up in the show. But I did it for the greater good. And but as far as a learning experience, man, being an actor is hard work. You got to put yourself in the right mindset. Lots of wardrobe changes, working with kids, working with dogs, locations, timing. But at the end of the day, you know, it's a business. And if you're good at running a business, if you can run a telephone shop, you can run a law office. If you can run a law office, you can run a acting studio. You see what I'm saying? It's just business principles that need to be followed, which is something we have a deficit of that, I find, in the Black community these days.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm. Are there any closing remarks you want to make? Because you know, I know you gotta eventually get your kids, man, to karate, and you know, I want to thank you for coming, man, and you know.
Yeah, I got a little time, man. I always make time for you, man. I just got to leave at like 7, so I got like 20 more minutes.
Okay, cool. So,
oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, like, so you're pretty much done shooting the show now. So all you're doing is really actually promoting it and whatever the case may be. And you did you I guess you shot the show like I don't know how long ago you actually shot it.
We'll get wrong. Oh, hurry up. No, I'm sorry.
You got your boys with you right now?
Yeah, yeah, hurry up, man. What's wrong with you, man? He's 16, big, you know, he got attitude, man.
Man, yeah. How tall is he, man?
About 6 feet. I can't whoop him no more, man.
Yeah, if you pushing 50, man, you know what I'm saying, he rolling around doing jujitsu, man, he'll roll you to death, man.
I can't do it right there. All I got now is my intimidation left, but that's gonna come here real quick. Let me introduce you to some people. So you should ask this fella right here. I don't know what a Crimson Sun is. All right, come on over here real quick, young brother. This is I've been down there. You too tall. This is my son.
What's going on,
nice.
man?
This is Doctor. We'll call him Dr. G. Okay, and so Dr. G is a famous broadcaster, and he's on the broadcast with his brothers. They do something called what does Roman call that? They do movie reviews. The Crimson Sun is on the toilet right now, but this is this is his co-host, and they review movies like Godfather. He gave The Godfather 1 a 3 because it was too racist and too much negativity, and him and his brother had it out about that. But stand up. So yeah, so
I see he got his gi on. He ready to roll now. Look at him.
Yeah.
Check him out.
So he has a second degree. Get off my wall, man. He has a second degree black belt. You can put your head down a little bit. He has a second degree black belt in kung fu. So he also has what is it? Green belt in jiu-jitsu, and then a black belt in Shotokan. So I raised strong boys, you know. And
yeah, I used to roll around a little bit, man, doing arm bars and choking people out a little bit, you know.
I'll tell you, brother Combs here. But my whole point is to show you that's the finished product. You know, you wanna make sure that you put strong men out into this world. You know, that is gonna be my greatest gift to the Black community. Good, strong, solid examples of manhood into the Black, better men than me, I hope, you know. And I think that's the greatest gift that we as modern Black men can give, to put good, strong, solid brothers out there that come up behind us and pick up where we left off and do better. And that's what I hope to do. And brother, I appreciate you so much, man. I look up to you, and it's just an honor to be on your broadcast again. And I know I don't come over as often as I can, but when I do see you live, man, I'll make sure I get chip in. You know what I'm saying? I gotta make sure we keep you going, man.
Hey, man, I appreciate it, bro. You know, one thing that I want to do now, though, is if anybody has any questions for Dennis, you know, you can ask them in the chat. Yeah. One question that's been kind of mulling around in the chat, I see, is this issue with this new ruling from the Supreme Court, and it's about affirmative action in higher education.
Right.
Give us your assessment about, like, what do you think that's going to have an impact on? What demographic do you think is going to have an impact on?
Well, I mean, we knew it coming, but is it really going to, I mean, how many Black men benefit from affirmative action? I think the primary beneficiary of affirmative action has been white women and maybe Black women. We don't benefit from affirmative action like that. They bring us into those schools to run up and down the football fields and shoot hoops, and they bring a certain amount of Black folks in to make sure that those Black men who play sports have some kind of company. Because you don't want to go to Syracuse and Louisiana State University and be the only Black dude in the class. You're gonna be a certain amount of women and Black, you know, that's so they do that to keep the athletes happy. But for the most part, I don't think affirmative action being done away with in higher education is going to seriously affect the average Black man. And you have other alternatives. You know, you got your HBCUs, you got your more state universities, and I think I don't see it. It's a white woman's problem as far as I'm concerned. That's generally my idea of it. What are your thoughts, brother?
Man, look, I kind of agree with you. Like, white women are the biggest beneficiaries of affirmative action. They kind of just hijacked everything that was supposed to be doled out from the Civil Rights Act in and of itself. I mean, they just kind of took the shit for themselves. Yeah. And so it's unfortunate, but not really unfortunate, but because Black men really don't get shit from it. I'm not saying that there's nothing that Black men haven't ever received in terms of there being an affirmative action policy. However, the overwhelming beneficiaries of affirmative action and civil rights legislation have been white women. So it's ironic to me that some of these people have been at the heart of trying to, remove it, or trying to, stem the tide.
The white man is trying to put his woman back in her place. His woman has got out of pocket. That's why he outlawed baby deletions and made it illegal for the most part. That's why he's putting her back in her place. No more freebies for you. You're out of pocket. This is a fight between the white man and the white woman. All the political stuff. Donald Trump represents the daddy that told them, sit your ass down, go in the kitchen and find you a husband, cook and clean and be pregnant. That's why they don't like him. You see what I mean? This is a fight between white folks over resources. Who's going to continue dominating? And the white man is like, nah, bitch, we did all the slaughtering and killing to get this, and we going to maintain control. And you bitches are going to stay in line. And they
But this is the thing. But this is the difference, though. I want to interrupt you here, though, and say this. One thing I noticed about this whole issue about affirmative action is connection to race. Okay. Now, I remember I called what it was called the Race and Sex Stereotyping Act when Trump issued it. Okay, and I called it the malleus maleficarum, the witch's hammer is what I called it back 2 years ago when he issued it. But ultimately, there's no ruling against sex as a pretext for affirmative action, as much as there is the pretext for race being a means by which to prop somebody up. Yeah. So because I'm not saying that like these white guys are to some degree being
it's the Chinese that are whooping everybody's ass and filling up these. Basically, if they can't, I think the issue was they were using race to disqualify people. In other words, you had Asians and white people who scored better, but they said, no, we're going to disqualify you and bring somebody up who had maybe less scores and less grades weren't as good because we already got a large percentage of Asians here. So, either you're going to basically the schools, elite schools going to fill up with Asian people. Okay, that's basically what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. And so, look, man, that ain't my problem. You know what I mean? Like I said, we got plenty of HBCUs for black people to go to. This boy got sense enough. I went to an HBCU. I make more money than most of them brothers that went to Harvard. And I don't have to deal with the stress and bullshit that they had to deal with. My boy is looking at me saying, Daddy, why would you send me up there with them white folks, have me walk out of there with $300,000-$400,000 in debt, and you sitting around here making all this money and you went to Grambling and Southern? You see what I'm saying? So he just doing what he seen me do. Like, Daddy, why would I do that? I want to be a lawyer like you in Houston like you. Matter of fact, I want to take your shit over, as a matter of fact. So, so I really, like I said, these kids, man, I don't think it's going to affect it. As long as there's a HBCU and they're underfunded, we don't have enough children. There's place for our young people that want to go. If you want to go to these white schools, well, you're going to have to be special. You have to do a whole lot. You gotta get in there and compete. But if you want to be a lawyer, you want to be a doctor, there's still going to be an avenue for you to get in.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Look, I fucks with the HBCUs. I went to one myself. Okay, went to Xavier University, New Orleans, Louisiana.
Oh shit!
However, though, I've also attended. I went to a white graduate school. I ain't gonna say where, but I went to a white graduate school, and look, I fuck with white folks here and there. You know what I'm saying? I don't beat feet around them. And yes, the boss start changing my diction and shit, trying to sound white. I don't do that. But it is what it is, man. As long as I tell people this: the information from university to university is the same. Yeah. Plato, if you read Plato's Republic, is the same at Harvard as it is at Grambling. Right. The book doesn't change. Okay. Now, the quality of the professors may change, but then again, you can get a good professor anyway. You just got to figure out who the passionate, individual who's teaching the course is, and who really actually gives a shit about making sure that the material is covered in a meaningful way. You know what I'm saying? And who really actually is going to inspire thought in you. You know what I'm saying? That's because that's what you attend the university for, to learn not just what you're majoring in, but to learn in general. You're supposed to come away with a general, better understanding of the world you live in and the society you live in. That's what you should. You should walk away with that. You know, you're enhanced and improved in terms of your knowledge and your awareness. So if you can get that in, shit, you don't have to go to college to get that. You know what I'm saying? Like if you want to be an autodidact, you can get information on your own. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Them's a big word, man.
Oh man, my bad, bro. You know what I'm saying?
You know them big words.
But look, I ain't hating. Look, but one thing I will say though, like if you do find if you can go for free to one of these Ivy League schools, I wouldn't say turn that motherfucker down. No, you know, that's just my opinion though. But anyway, having said all that, man, shit, bro, it's 6:50, man. Man, hey man, thank you for coming by, man, Dennis, man. Appreciate your presence, bro. We got to chop it up again sometime, man.
Yeah, man, I had a great time. I want to just say thank you for everybody who came through. Make sure y'all check out Co-Parenting with the Spurlings. It's going to be next week, next Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time on my channel, Dennis Spurling. So go subscribe now. It'll also be on Esquire Entertainment, which is another channel that I host. Has a lot more stuff going on. Entertainment. You can see the Crimson Sun. My sons do their movie reviews.
Okay. And damn, you hit me up with a. Come on, man.
Yeah, man. You know.
Shout out to D, man. Shout out to Dennis, man.
You know what I'm saying? You gotta. Hey, that's how you show all that talking. No, man, put some money in my pocket, baby. That's what you working hard. They need to pay the PhD, man. They need to pay you, baby. You know what I'm saying? They need to pay their tithes, pay their tuition up in here. You giving away graduate level lectures every day for the public.
Well, not, you know, when I'm on, I try to, disseminate information. Some people, are detractors. Some people don't like the information. I had somebody challenge me, I think it was Tuesday.
What?
About a statement that I made. Ultimately, what I tried to present was that between 1976 and 1989, and these are the foundational years in which much of the domestic violence policies were drafted in the U.S. During that time frame, more black men were killed by their wives than black women were killed by their husbands.
That's what we need to talk about. We need to come back and talk about these violent ladies. That's instead of these lovely ladies, let's talk about these hostile ladies.
But I mean, as soon as I said it, I was told that I was a liar. You're lying. That's some bullshit. If you show me the statistic, I'll give you $1,000.
Give me. I'd have took that bet. Give me the money.
I took the bet. I was like, okay, and then I said, look, okay. At the time, I didn't really actually have time to do it, but what I did was I came back and did another show, and I'm gonna share the screen just so, because I know that there's a lot of people here who will see this and might be shocked by it. Okay, and I'll leave, at some point. Okay, so this is the U.S. Department of Justice, the Bureau of Justice Statistics. Okay, they have a book called, a publication called "Violence by Intimates: Analysis of Data on Crimes by Current or Former Spouses, Boyfriends, and Girlfriends." And so, if you look at and you can find this online. It's free. Okay, if you put black men as a fine search term, it does say that over the past few decades, there's been a decrease in the intimate murder of men, especially black men. But if you keep moving through it, you'll see that, and it says in 1976, the per capita rate of intimate murder of black men was 19 times higher than that of white men. Okay. The rate among black females that year was 7 times higher than the rate among white females. And in 1996, the black male rate was 8 times that of white males, and the black female rate was 3 times higher than the white female rate. But I mean, overwhelmingly, what you're seeing is, in comparison to white people, white men in particular, I mean, 20 times the rate of white guys being killed related to this kind of violence. I mean, what is it so unique about black men that leaves them vulnerable to being killed by their intimate partners? But anyway, the quote that I was mentioning that I was told I was lying about was this one here. And it says that between 1976 and 89, more black men were killed by their wives than black women were killed by their husbands.
Damn.
After
Man, I mean-
1990, things began to reverse, okay? But it still doesn't belie, it still doesn't change the fact that between 76 and 89, black men were being killed more so by their spouses than black women. And this is the same year, because, Ellen Pence came up with the Duluth model of domestic violence in 83. Kimberly Crenshaw begins to develop her theorization about intersectionality and black women and their vulnerability to domestic violence in 89. So the question then becomes, well, if it's a phenomenon that's caused by patriarchy, then what the fuck is creating the conditions in which so many black men are being murdered by their wives?
That's something we'll have to revisit the next time, brother. But man, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you, man. And shout out to everybody in the chat room. And I'm gonna ease on over here to this karate practice, man, and do my daddy duty. But y'all
Hey,
check.
man, go ahead, man. Appreciate it. And good luck to your sons, man. Good luck to you, man. Good luck with your show, bro.
All right, man. Thank you so much, man. The G with the PhD. Give me that bomb thing. Yeah, I like that.
Hey, man. Hey, there you go, baby. All right, D, man. I'll holler at you later, bro. So, look, man. Let me stop sharing this, man. If I can stop sharing this shit, man. Cancel. There we go, man. So anyway, man, look, man. It's been, it's been a good one tonight, man. And I'm just gonna go ahead and close out. I want y'all to be peaceful tonight, man. Have a good one. We had a decent show, man. Thank you for everybody who supported me, man. And I'll name y'all again because I really and truly appreciate y'all, man. Every last one of you. Shout out to True. He says for Gigi and the Blizzard King. Appreciate you, brother. Shout out to Mrs. KP Bailey. Shout out to Ruthless and Heartless Revelator. Shout out to Jerome Bostic. Appreciate y'all, man, for hitting me up on the Cash App, man. And so I just want y'all to be peaceful, man. Have a good one. And I'll holler at y'all later, man. Peace. Go check out Old Boy Show, man. You know what I'm saying? But I'll holler at y'all later. The name of that publication, again, let me show it to you again then. Let me see. Let me show it again. The name of the publication is published by the Department of Justice, okay? The U.S. Department of Justice. It's entitled Violence by Intimates, Analysis of Data on Crimes by Current or Former Spouses, Boyfriends, and Girlfriends, okay? And again, if you put violence by intimates, analysis of data on crimes by current or former spouses, boyfriends, and girlfriends, it'll pop up. But in fact, let me do this now. Violence by intimates. That way you'll have it. Violence by intimates. That way you'll have it. And you can't say Gigi didn't give it to you. I like to share information, man. There it is. There you go. So now you have access to that publication, man. And this is not to say that women are inherently evil. The only thing we're trying to say is that in terms of the loss of life and death and danger, it's hyperbolic to talk about men being the only cause of it. We're not the only cause of death in the black community. But if, you listen to current posturing and posing and political haranguing about the subject matter, what comes up is that there's some danger omnipresent in the black community, and that there's a boogeyman black man lying under every corner, ready to lay waste to a vulnerable, sweet, innocent, unsuspecting, hapless black female victim. Man, this is fucking crock of shit, man. We just got to start telling the truth. You can't cure a disease by lying about the disease. So that's my viewpoint on it, man. But anyway, bless y'all, man. I'll see y'all on the next one, man. And Joe from DC, I ain't get my bread, man. No, absolutely fucking not. No bread. Not even a response. So go figure. But anyway, man, thank y'all for coming, man. I'll holler at y'all on the next one, man. Y'all be peaceful, man. Straight up. Till the next time, man. Holla at you.